It's great being here in Toronto. It's an exciting project, and our partners are really, really terrific people, and hopefully we'll do other things together too. And I just want to make a note of apology for the idiotic behavior of my president. It's a disgrace.
Robert De Niro just turned a political segment into a full-blown roast. And guess who's getting torched? Karoline Leavitt and her favorite orange hype man, Donald Trump. Picture a Hollywood icon strolling into a MAGA rally armed with a flamethrower and a dictionary. If you thought De Niro was savage in Goodfellas, wait until you see him verbally body slam two of the loudest wannabe politicians on live TV. Grab your emotional support popcorn. This takedown deserves an Oscar.
Trust in President Trump. He knows what he's doing. This is a proven economic plan.
I hate bullies, thugs who use their strength to push other people around. They think they can achieve power and hang on to it by intimidating others. Sadly, sometimes it works, but most of the time it doesn't. And now we have Trump. He's all that.
Robert De Niro doesn't do subtle, he doesn't do neutral, and he sure as hell doesn't do polished, PR-approved celebrity fence-sitting. The man's been dishing out blunt force truth since before Karoline Leavitt even existed, usually with a raised eyebrow, a deadpan glare, and that unmistakable "I'm done with your BS" energy. This isn't some washed-up actor clinging to politics for relevance. No, De Niro's been consistent for decades, equal parts grumpy uncle and political sniper, and he's still hitting his mark.
The Abraham Accord. Mr. Whitcomb, the president said he won't speak.
Yeah, thank you. Can you direct traffic? Yeah, thanks.
Let's act like adults here. They are generously offering their time to answer your questions. You don't need to scream at them like a bunch of school children. Go ahead.
Trump's been De Niro's favorite punching bag for years, and let's be honest, it's well earned. But this time, he set his sights on someone even more ridiculous. Karoline Leavitt, you know, Trump's Gen Z parrot with the volume cranked to max and the logic permanently unplugged. She's basically what you'd get if a campaign bumper sticker came to life and figured out how to hold a press conference.
It's the same oath that you and other senior advisors to the president took about adhering to the Constitution, following the law. Do you know what you took that oath?
I don't know the answer to that question, but like I told Caitlin, I can get back to you guys on that.
I don't have the answer to that question right now, but like I told Caitlin, I'll circle back. Anyway, when De Niro grabbed the mic and caught Trump and Leavitt doing their usual "We love America, now here's how we're going to undermine it" routine, he didn't just clap back. He went full scorched earth. He took the MAGA playbook, lit it on fire, and drop-kicked it straight through a plate glass window. This wasn't a critique, it was a full-on demolition job. No wiggle room, no sugarcoating, just pure, unfiltered truth. It wasn't political commentary, it was performance art, rage-fueled, razor-sharp, and aimed straight at the heart of the circus. De Niro didn't miss, he never does.
And he says, "Wake up, punchy," he says to you. And that's not the only time, and he moved over to Truth Social. Robert De Niro, whose acting talents have greatly diminished, with his reputation now shot, must even use a teleprompter for his foul and disgusting language. So disrespectful to our country. Now, in all fairness to the former president, is that true? Do you have to use a teleprompter when speaking about President Trump? Or are you able to just kind of riff on your thoughts on him?
Yeah, he's so stupid.
If you're enjoying this, don't forget to subscribe. Robert De Niro, the cinematic godfather of "I'm too old for this nonsense," just took a swing at the political piñata, and guess what spilled out? Karoline Leavitt, Donald Trump, and about 3 tons of top-tier MAGA madness. The man's been in mob movies for decades, but even he wasn't ready for the circus that is today's right-wing media echo chamber. When De Niro finally had enough, he didn't just clap back, he went. Full Scorsese third act, guns blazing, truth bombs exploding, and any hint of dignity left far behind in the rearview mirror.
We're in a very bad situation. I remember you and I about 5-6 years ago talking down at the Spring Studios, something about, I said, what just happened just happened. No, it didn't. It didn't happen. It's all about truth. And what we have here is a denial of truth all over the place. And even the speech that he made after is insane. It's just insane, and I'm very, very concerned about it. I think.
In case you're not familiar, Karoline Leavitt is what you get when a Trump staffer and a conservative podcast comment section have a baby. She's been pumped up as the young, fresh face of MAGA 2.0, which is basically the same tired mix of grievance and gaslighting, just with a Gen Z Snapchat filter. She's the type of person who thinks yelling on Fox News automatically makes her a policy expert. Imagine someone trying to cosplay as Kayleigh McEnany, but with fewer facts and more TikTok-level confidence. That's what caught De Niro's eye. Not because he was bored or suddenly gunning for a CNN pundit spot, but because he's been watching American democracy unravel into a real-life satire. And when someone handed him a microphone, well, you know what happened next.
White House official made the decision to bar the AP reporter from the Oval Office and the diplomatic reception room last night.
Well, first of all, let me just set the record straight. It is a privilege to cover this White House. It's a privilege to be the White House press secretary. And nobody has the right to go into the Oval Office and ask the President of the United States questions. That's an invitation that is given. And there are hundreds of outlets on this campus, many of you in this room who don't have the privilege of being part of that pool every single day and getting to ask the President questions. We reserve.
So there he was, facing down the political equivalent of a group project where one person does all the work and the other just screams fake news. Instead of suffering in silence, De Niro did what he does best. He blew up the script. He went after Karoline first, not because she's important, she isn't, but because she's loud, painfully self-assured, and desperately trying to be the heir to Trump's chaotic throne. And honestly, you have to admire the delusion. She talks about truth the way a used car salesman talks about low mileage. Lots of conviction, but little to back it up. De Niro, being De Niro, didn't just say she was wrong, he dismantled her logic like a soggy meatball sub, limp, overcooked, and falling apart under the slightest scrutiny. He pointed out how Karoline Leavitt, barely old enough to rent a car, somehow managed to be more committed to defending Trump's lies than actual grown-ups with political careers.
When it comes to tariffs, the president has been very tough on China, not just now with 20% and more with the reciprocal tariffs that will hit on April 2nd. But look at what he did in his first term. There were billions of dollars worth of tariffs that he implemented on China, and it's quite telling that the previous administration did not rescind those tariffs because they realized the value that they had in not only deterring China, but also raising revenue here in the United States.
She wasn't just towing the party line, she was breakdancing on it like her Fox News internship depended on it. Then came the real fireworks. De Niro didn't stop at the cheerleader. He went straight for the quarterback, Trump and his entire 4-year reality show of an administration. Yes, the one where facts were optional, empathy was canceled, and Twitter turned into a state-run media platform. De Niro reminded everyone that Trump didn't just lie, he built an entire theme park around it, a whole Trump world, where bleach was considered medicine, hurricanes had Sharpie-drawn paths, and press briefings looked like an open mic night at a gas station bar.
Did you know that the Trump administration has freed more than half of Americans from around the world, have brought more than half of the number that Joe Biden brought home in 4 years? Donald Trump has done it in 8.
He didn't pull any punches. The Trump administration wasn't just a political era, it was a full-blown catastrophe, complete with merch. De Niro dragged out every skeleton from the Mar-a-Lago closet. Pandemic mismanagement? Check. Border. Chaos? Double check. The relentless need to turn every scandal into a fundraising campaign, complete with discount codes? Oh, you better believe it. And while Karoline Leavitt might have thought she was being a loyal foot soldier, De Niro made it crystal clear she was defending a regime that turned incompetence into an Olympic sport. This was a group that turned Infrastructure Week into a punchline and ethics violations into scheduled daily events. It wasn't governance, it was brand management for a guy who could barely manage his own vocabulary. But here's where things got hilariously tragic. Karoline, like so many of Trump's New Age spokespeople, truly believed she was saving America from what? Facts, decency, common sense. De Niro saw right through it. He exposed the formula. Take one oversized ego, add a teleprompter, sprinkle in some deflection, and boom, you've got a MAGA motivational speaker with 0 solutions and a PhD in shouting.
We're Americans. What are we doing? We're supposed to be standing up for each other. We're supposed to be helping each other. What, you think you're doing the right thing? No, you're not. You're afraid. And you think if you get worked up over some bullshit conspiracy nonsense that won't make you afraid?
And the best part, De Niro didn't even raise his voice. He didn't need to. His calm, factual takedown of Leavitt and Trump hit harder than any shouting match on cable news. It was like watching your grandpa, completely unfazed, tell the family. The Christmas turkey is raw, not angry, just disappointed. And somehow, that makes it 10 times worse. Social media went wild. The right called him irrelevant, which is rich, coming from people who still think Kid Rock is culturally significant.
Do you think our democracy is at risk in this election?
I think that it is. I always keep saying democracy is great, of course, but democracy people take for granted. It's a word that some people don't even understand. They take it for granted. It's about right and wrong, period. The guy's a monster. He is beyond wrong. It's almost like he wants to do the most horrible things that he can think of in order to get a rise out of us. I don't know what it is.
The truth is, De Niro didn't just call them out. He exposed the whole game. The us versus them narrative that the Trump camp thrives on only works if no one challenges it with facts. But the moment someone, especially someone with real gravitas, shines a light on it, it crumbles faster than Trump's casinos. De Niro reminded America that politics isn't supposed to be performance art. Calling yourself real while spewing rehearsed propaganda doesn't make you authentic. It makes you insufferable. And Karoline Leavitt, she's not the voice of a new generation. She's the remix of a tired old track with worse lyrics and no rhythm. De Niro's takedown wasn't just cathartic, it was a master class. He showed that you don't need to yell when the facts are loud enough. That logic, when applied with precision, can be far more devastating than any Twitter rant. And most importantly, he proved that there's still space in the public square for truth, even if it has to show up in a leather jacket and start swinging.
I love this city. I don't want to destroy it. Donald Trump wants to destroy not only the city, but the country, and eventually he could destroy the world. When Trump ran in 2016, it was like a joke. This buffoon running for president. No, it never could happen. We'd forgotten the lessons of history that showed us other clowns who weren't taken seriously until they became vicious dictators. With Trump, we have a second chance.
Now that the next generation of Trump surrogates is trying to repackage the same broken product, De Niro isn't letting them get away with it. Karoline Leavitt thought she could carry the MAGA torch into the future, but De Niro took that torch, stomped it out, and handed her a flashlight with dead batteries. And in case you were wondering whether this will actually change anything in the GOP, of course not. They're already too deep in their alternate universe where loyalty matters. More than leadership and owning the libs is somehow considered a policy plan. But it sure as hell gave the rest of us something to laugh about. And maybe, just maybe, it's a sign that the curtain's starting to close on this political reality show from hell. So here we are, with De Niro once again reminding the world that sometimes the truth doesn't come from a podium.
You really worry that if he were to win again, and I'm not saying this like it's such a far-fetched notion, if he were to win again, that he would not give up power?
You know he won't. You know he won't. He even said it. He's never going to give it up. And anybody who deludes themselves in thinking that he is, shame on you.
You have compared the Trump family to a gangster family, which is something coming from you. What do you mean?
They are. Well, because
While Karoline is out here recycling Trump's greatest hits, De Niro is conducting autopsies on bad ideas. And no, Karoline, you can't yell your way out of this one. The difference is simple. One side wants applause, the other wants answers. And when Robert De Niro is the one asking the questions, you'd better have more than fake news in your back pocket. In this episode of America's never-ending drama, the actor just gave the politicians a masterclass in reality, and they failed the audition badly. And that's the real kicker, isn't it? When an 80-year-old Hollywood icon starts sounding like the only adult in a room full of patriot cosplay and political karaoke, maybe the problem isn't De Niro. It's everyone else who's somehow turned delusion into a lifestyle brand. This wasn't just De Niro being spicy on a slow news day. It was a full-blown cultural intervention, a moment of clarity in a fog of slogans, sound bites, and whatever Karoline Leavitt thinks counts. As a political strategy, let's be real, Karoline's entire argument could fit on a bumper sticker, and probably already has. Freedom, patriots, fake news, rinse, repeat. No policy, no depth, just vibes. Meanwhile, De Niro walked in with a full script, receipts, and the kind of moral clarity that's been missing from DC ever since they started confusing loyalty oaths for actual leadership.
Caroline, on the economy. So after mostly a down week last week in the economy, you've been very vocal, as well as other cabinet members, about how we're in a transition and about how this economic transition, and there's a plan, a long-term plan for tariffs on this. How concerned is the president that the markets and Americans, for lack of a better term, will freak out over these tariffs and be concerned about a long-term plan?
Sure. I think I've been asked this question and answered this question respectfully, Edward. We are in a period of transition. The president has made that clear. He also has made his belief in tariffs and what